Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie, and today I'm going to be showing you Glitch Lacquer's upcoming collection for Valentine's Day called Aphrodite's Kiss. As you can probably see, this is a massive 9-piece collection consisting of mainly shimmers and magnetics, and as usual, I will save some more information on the launch details at the end of the video after comparisons. For now, let me just show you the swatches. The first polish we have is Death of Peace of Mind, which is described as a warm red magnetic pigment in a blackish brown base. As I'm sure you can tell, this is definitely one of the more sheer jelly-based magnetics, so you definitely want to build this up in at least 2, more likely than not 3 coats if you want a more full coverage look. But to be completely honest, even on the 3rd coat, I still could see my visible nail line, even with my much shorter nails. But that being said, the formula on this was pretty nice and easy to work with. Maybe just not the most even coverage or self-leveling, at least not what I noticed on the 2nd coat, so doing a 3rd also helped even that out. But I think you could get away with this in just 2 coats in the velvet and unmagnetized states. Next up we have Lovey Dovey, which is a warm pink polish with a warm pink to gold shimmer and a soft silver magnetic pigment. I'm sure you already know I love this polish. It is just such a gorgeous shade of pink. It's so bright, kind of in that mid-tone family where it's definitely deeper than your typical bubblegum pinks, but not as dark as a true hot pink at the same time. It is just super, super gorgeous. Really fantastic formula as well. It was really even coverage, easy to work with, just a little bit sheer, not quite as jelly as the last polish, maybe more crelly leaning. So I personally left this on 2 coats, even though I could still see a hint of nail line. I just didn't think doing a 3rd was necessary. I know this was described as having a soft silver magnetic pigment, and I would definitely agree with that, especially in the cat eye effect. It was pretty subtle. Next we have Astral Glass, which is described as an ultra smooth fine particle silver magnetic pigment with pink and purple iridescent flakies in the background. I unfortunately didn't realize that the description mentioned that this apparently has little to no base color to it, which means that it could be worn as a topper, but as I'm showing here, I pretty much layered this on its own because I thought it was just a standalone polish. To me, it didn't seem sheer enough to be a topper. I mean, you saw the first coat, it was pretty pigmented with a lot of this dark gray sort of background color. So I imagine if you layer this as a topper, it would work best over black or just darker colors in general. I got really great coverage in just 2 coats alone where I found it opaque enough for me, and I loved how the flaky stood out, especially in the cat eye effect. The next polish we have is Dream Opal, which is described as a sheer blue jelly with a pink to orange to gold to green reflective shimmer. The description calls it a reflective pigment, but I would say this is a typical shimmer. It's not reflective in the sense that we know it when it comes to reflective glitters, for example. And I would say this description is very accurate. It is a really true sheer jelly kind of polish. You can see on the first coat it has really nice even coverage, which is great. So I imagine this one could probably be used as a topper as well, but building it up on its own, you get a little bit more color in 2 and 3 coats, but not so much coverage. I feel like you can still see some visible nail line, which personally I don't mind, but I know some people don't like it. The good news though is the shimmer is super glowy, and I love the shift that it has. The next shimmer is called Fire Opal, which is a sheer purple jelly polish with a red to orange to gold to green shimmer. So this pretty much is just the same formula as the last polish, just a different colorway, a different shimmer pigment in here. I had a little bit of a messier application on the first coat, so apologies for that, but yeah, the formula was not difficult to work with by any means. It was super smooth, really glassy. If anything, I found this one to be slightly more obscure obscuring of the nail line. I don't know if it's because it's slightly darker than the blue shade, or maybe the shimmer is just more eye-catching in a way. Like, I would say the coverage on this in 2 coats reminded me of Dream Opal, but in 3 coats, if that makes sense. So doing a 3rd coat of this one just deepens and intensifies the color even more, but is still squishy because, again, it is a jelly base, so you can still see a hint of visible nail line. The last magnetic in the collection is called Heart of the Ocean, and this is a deep blue jelly base with blue to purple magnetic pigments and blue glitters. This one had another nice, easy to work with formula, a little bit on the jelly side as you can see here, but still pretty pigmented, I would say, for the most part, maybe because it's just a darker shade of blue. So I got really nice coverage on just 2 coats alone, where I found it opaque enough for me, but maybe if my nails were still longer, I may have needed a 3rd coat because, again, it is slightly in that jelly formula. I really loved how this one looked in 2 coats, and I actually can't choose which version I like more, in the cat eye or the velvet style, because it just has really beautiful contrast between the deeper inky base and the brighter blue shimmer and glitter. The next shimmer we have is called Lavender Haze, which is a very light, almost white purple with a super shifty pink to yellow to green to teal shimmer and extra sparkly red reflective glitters. I thought this one was super stunning. It is just so sparkly and glitzy. It had another fantastic formula, very even coverage as you can see on the 1st coat. It is just jam-packed with those shimmers, and I would agree with the color description for this too, where it's a very, very pale lavender. Like, you barely get a wash of that purple on the 1st coat, so if you want more of the lavender color, it's best to build it up in 2 or even 3 coats. I personally left this at 2 because I thought it just had really nice coverage, and I loved how sparkly it looked under flash, though I would say that these reflective glitters aren't red, they just looked more pink to me, which I love. And speaking of pink, the next shimmer we have is called Enchanted Peony, which is described as a baby pink polish with a warm copper to gold shimmer and light green and red reflective glitters. To be completely honest, I didn't even notice that this had reflective glitters in it. I thought it was just a shimmery kind of crelly formula. So I don't have a clip of this under flash, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can tell just from seeing it on the nail, it doesn't have nearly as much reflective glitter as the last polish. It's just a much more delicate sort of twinkle. So the shimmer crelly kind of combo is definitely the more prominent feature or finish, I guess. The formula was fantastic. The 1st coat was definitely really sheer. You just get a wash of that pink color and a little bit of that shimmer, but it does build up beautifully in 2 and especially 3 coats, where you see a hint of nail line, but it's really obscured compared to some of the more jelly shimmers that we saw earlier. And rounding out the collection, we have Keep Your Heart, which is a cool-toned purple jelly with a pink to gold to green to blue glowy shimmer. This had another fantastic formula, just so smooth and easy to apply. A little bit sheer on the 1st coat, but at the same time, the shimmer was really overpowering, where it's not quite the same as the Opal shimmers from earlier, for example. I feel like those had maybe more true jelly bases that played with the shimmer a little bit more evenly. But the shimmer in this is super, super glowy, almost giving it like a pearlescent or metallic sort of look, but not nearly as brushstrokey or opaque or anything. Moving on to comparisons, we're starting with Death of Peace of Mind, and I wanted to show this next to Cracked Polish's Drugstore Chocolate, which is their red magnetic that just came out. Seeing them in the bottle, I thought that they would be a little bit closer, but there's a very stark difference on the nail. These are not dupes. Since the glitch is more of a black and red magnetic, I thought it would be closer to shades like Sassy Sauce's Wicked Sorcery or Mooncat's Dawn of the Empire. Between these two, it's definitely closer to the Mooncat, having the more black base with a red magnetic shimmer. The glitch is obviously just much more sheer, so you would probably want to layer this over a black cream to make it look like the Mooncat. Unfortunately, the Sassy Sauce only shifts to red in extreme light. You don't see it head on. Next for Lovey Dovey, I don't have a magnetic like this, so I thought to try to recreate it using ILNP's Sweet Tooth, which came out in last year's candy-coated collection. In the bottle alone, they look incredibly similar. I guess I would say so on the nail too, but ILNP's a little bit lighter or maybe muted. It's just not as vibrant as Lovey Dovey, but it's still that sort of mid-tone pink with a copper shimmer that shifts to gold, not quite a pink shimmer. And doing one coat of the magnetic topper doesn't really make it any closer. The last shade I have for color reference is Apocalypse's You've Got Red on You, which is a thermal, but I'm focusing on the cold state of the color, which is what you see in the bottle, where it's that warm mid-tone shade of pink, so it's somewhat similar, but obviously not a dupe. Next for Astral Glass, I wanted to quickly show this next to Mooncat's Triceratops, which is a mid-toned gray jelly base with these blue and green iridescent flakies, obviously not dupes. So I thought to try to recreate Astral Glass, I would use Mooncat's Death Star, which is a gray with silver kind of magnetic base, and then layer Prism Parade's Heart Like a Riot, which is a blue and purple iridescent flaky topper. I'm pretty sure both ILNP and Holo Taco have a topper like this, and the flaky color is definitely a close match, but they don't stand out as much as in Glitch, and the Mooncat doesn't have as much of a strong contrast. Then for Dream Opal, this one immediately reminded me of Mooncat's Mercury's Tears, which is a cobalt blue sort of jelly base with a really vibrant pink shimmer that is more of a multi-chrome. It's a lot more shifty, but seeing them head on in two coats, you can definitely see the similarities. I would say that Mooncat is maybe just a bit darker or slightly more vibrant in color, or just more pigmented, but again, the shimmer is a lot more shifty, going all the way to teal. And then for Fire Opal, I of course am showing this next to Holo Taco's Unicorn #1 from the Bon Voyage collection. It's another purple jelly base with a vibrant red shimmer that shifts to gold in extreme light and hints of green. So virtually dupes, but there is a slight difference where you can see on two coats here that Glitch is a little bit more of a warmer toned purple. Holo Taco is slightly cooler and maybe a smidge darker, but definitely the closest to a dupe. I also wanted to show this next to ILNP's Hallucinate, which is another purple with a red to gold shimmer, but the bigger difference is obviously the base color, where ILNP is just a lot darker, more pigmented, cooler toned. The slight difference in the shimmer too is the shimmer or particle size, where it looks a little more sparse in ILNP. Next up for Heart of the Ocean, the other true blue magnetics that I have are ILNP's 0 Degrees and Beesney's Lacquer's Rebirth and Renew, which technically I think has more of a multi-chrome shimmer where there's other colors of pink and green, but head on you just see the blue, though I would say it's a bit darker than the Glitch. At least between these two, I would say ILNP is closer, but not an exact dupe. Next for Lavender Haze, I wanted to quickly show this next to Resistance from the Palestine collection because it kind of has a similar finish, being this shimmer and reflective glitter combo, just obviously very different colors. For a closer comparison or potential dupe, I thought of Cirque Colors Slow Burn, which is this sort of lavender jelly base, but it has a much more vibrant red shimmer. It also has a dainty hollow sparkle compared to the reflective glitter in Glitch. So while they kind of look similar in the bottle, you definitely can tell a difference on the nail. I'm showing these in 1 and 2 coats, and I think the Cirque is also more sheer overall. So personally, I think that one would be better suited as a topper, but of course you can do what you want. And to add the pink reflective glitter that I saw, I decided to do 1 coat of Cirque's Tiny Dancer on top. And to me, that looks like an exact color match to the reflective glitter in Glitch. Then for Enchanted Peony, this one reminded me of Potion Polish's Pink Sky at Dawn, which is a pinky, crelly base that has a more fiery kind of shimmer. It's more of a reddish color head on, but it does shift to gold in extreme lighting. As I'm sure you can tell though, the Potion Polish is a little bit more of a peachy pink color, so definitely not a dupe. And lastly, for Keep Your Heart, I first pulled out ILNP's Downtown, which is a purple jelly base that has a shimmer, but it's much more gold head on. So I ended up not showing this on the nail because you can see just next to each other, they are nothing alike. But when it came to a purple base with a pink shimmer, the other closest shade I could think of was Mooncat's Into the Wishing Well, which is more of a true crelly, and the shimmer is a little bit more subtle. I also have a couple of Holo Taco shades to compare to Keep Your Heart. First, I pulled out Phantom Call, which is a purple base with a glowy shimmer, but I ended up not comparing it on the nail because it's more of a golden shimmer color, while Camera Shy does have a pink shimmer in a purple base, but the base is more of an opaque crelly, and the shimmer is a lot more subtle, so definitely not dupes. And lastly, I don't have the polish anymore, so I just have the photo of Mooncat's Such Sweet Sorrow, which has a very similar pink shimmer from what I remember, but the base is a bit more blue. I think this would be the closest in terms of that super glowy wet shimmer look though. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons of Glitch's upcoming Aphrodite's Kiss collection. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on these, and if you are interested in them, they are going to be launching on Friday, January 30th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Also, as another reminder, Glitch has been running their charity event the past couple of weeks with the launch of their Palestine collection, and that's going to be running until the 29th if you wanted to participate in that. Also, in exciting news, I am now an affiliate with Glitch Lacquer. So that means that if you shop them while using my link or discount code PolishedYogi10 at checkout, you'll save 10% off your order while also giving me a small commission. So a big thank you to Brie for inviting me to the affiliate program, and obviously to all of you who support me through that. But yeah, back to the collection. I would love to hear your thoughts on these because I really enjoyed them. I was gasping as I was unboxing some of them because they were just so gorgeous. You know, I just love a glowy shimmer, and I thought these shades were just so beautiful. But no surprise, my top favorite is that pink magnetic. Longtime viewers know that I have been craving these brighter colored magnetics for so long, and I know we got a couple of them from ILNP, specifically from their Electric Summer collection a few summers ago, but this is what I've been wanting. So as a heads up, please do not ask me about any potential upcoming collaborations that I might have, because this is basically what I had in mind, and now I don't know what to do. Obviously not a bad thing though. I'm so excited for this one. I love that it's also called Lovey Dovey. It just feels like such a me polish. But yeah, overall, just really loved the sparkly vibes of this lineup and how it's a nice balance between these wintry blues with some romantic shades. It just feels so perfect for the time that we're in. So make sure to let me know what you think down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!